In this video, I will be demonstrating what you can do with a rigger brush. A rigger brush is basically a long and thin brush, so the specific part of it is that length. And these brushes are also called script liners, short liners. It just depends how long and thin they are. This one is on a larger side overall, but you can still use the tip of this brush to paint smaller and tinier hair, just as you would if you were using a smaller rigger brush, like a 0 for example. So this is an 8, it's much larger. First, I am going to paint overall this squirrel using the Aqua Elite round brushes. One of them is long round 8 Aqua Elite, and then 4, 6 regular round brushes. So overall, I will paint the squirrel, and then I will use the rigger brush to add some of that hair and to shape parts of those ears, but also to work on the tail, because the tail will be a little more puffy and you will see some of that hair. So this is just painting overall this squirrel by adding different colors and letting those colors blend on the paper. So I'm not really pre-mixing those colors on the palette. So you want to use that pointy part, the end of it, of that brush, to paint smaller hair. So that's the best way, and you want to test it a little bit on your finger to make sure you don't have too much paint. Generally, if you have more paint than water, then those lines won't be as smooth and even, they will be breaking. So take advantage of this brush, of the shape of it. Whenever you paint landscapes or animals, it makes your job so much easier to paint some of these things. So right now I'm gonna add a little more hair and whiskers. Whiskers are so delicate, like it's such a thin line. Like you want to really take your time. First of all, you want to hold the brush towards the head, closer to its head for more control. And then you want to really barely touch the paper when you paint that whisker. So this way you will be able to create softer whiskers. And you don't want to have too much paint because it will dry really dark if you don't have enough water, and it just sometimes doesn't look as natural. So overall, you want to have your paint well diluted with water, and then use that end of the brush to paint that small tiny hair. So you want to pull some of that paint too from the areas that are still wet on the body and expand it over the white surface if you're painting without background. And this is the example of testing how are your lines, how thin are your lines. And this is what I do. I kind of just paint like this, barely touching, like very delicate way, touching the paper, and that's how I am able to create that thin small hair. So it just depends, of course, how large your brush is. But overall, you can paint tiny hair with any size of a rigger brush. It doesn't have to be like a 0 or 2. It's much easier, but you can also do that with a larger size like an 8. As you can see, I am painting that tiny hair. You just have to hold that brush closer to its head to have more control. Thank you so much for watching.